available for sponsoring Corona. Just putting it out there. You never know. Alright, let's get this over with. Hello amigos, como estas? Welcome back to the channel. I'm outlying and today I'm going to do a video that I really don't want to do, but at the same time I kind of want to get my opinion out there, and talking in the camera for 10 minutes or so is a lot better and a lot easier than typing a massive essay on Twitter or on a blog or something. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So today we're going to be talking about Mexico's 1-0 loss against the US men's national team in the Gold Cup final. You know, it ended about, I don't know, about 11 hours ago now. But at the time I was at work, so yeah, I didn't watch the game. It was busy at work, so I still managed to follow it on Google and, you know, reading the odd tweet here and there. But yeah, I mean, I'm gutted that I didn't watch it, but I'm kind of also a little bit glad that I didn't watch it. Going on Twitter afterwards and just looking through everyone's tweet and the timeline and things, it seemed like a dire game. You know, I'm watching it still 0-0 at like the 80th minute, and I'm thinking, oh man, it's going to go to penalties, blah blah blah. I'm not quite sure what happened in the intricacies of the game. What can I say? I know that Moreno got injured. He actually got injured just as I was getting into work. Yeah, I think that was a big blow. I'm thinking, oh no, you know, Salcedo came on, and Salcedo's a bit hit and miss. You can have a good game, but he had a bit of a mare against Canada, and I'm thinking, oh man, that's not good. That's not going to start. But to be fair to Mexico, they kept a clean sheet for 90 minutes. And, you know, against, I mean, I have to say, an average US team. I mean, they weren't anything special. But yeah, even with that defensive change, I think Mexico kept their shape pretty well. I mean, going to, I'm trying to say 2 seconds worth of the US men's national team before I go on. I mean, they won, you know, you have to hold your hands up and say they won the game. I think going to penalties would have been fairer, but yeah, that is what it is. I don't think it was a great team. I know they're missing some players, but so are Mexico. The way some of their fans talk about them, you'd think that the best team, one of the best teams in the world. I have not seen any evidence of that yet. You know, I really hate this whole ABC team thing. Only the US fans seem to do it. There's no other fans of any other country that do that. I think it's because I think the majority of US fans have only just got into football, and you know, through FIFA. Yeah, if you're a serious career mode player, you have your A team and your B team, and you rotate, because obviously that's the only way you can get through games. But yeah, I think it's just a really weird, annoying thing they do. You know, for me, national teams are national teams. If Harry Kane and Jack Grealish don't play for England, does that mean that that's not England's A team? Of course it is. You have your national team, senior team, and you have your U23s, and then all the youth teams down below them. That's it. You don't have A, Bs or C teams or senior national teams. You just have your national team, some with some players, sometimes without players. That's what it is. I think both teams were missing key players. That I think if every single player had been fit for both teams, I think it would have been a much better match. But having said that, nothing I've seen from the US. Yeah, I mean, you know, they haven't really impressed me. They haven't made me sit there and go, they're really great, they're getting really improved. I think this game and the Nations League wasn't a sign of the US team getting better. I think it's a sign that Mexico's entering a blip. Yeah, a little bit of a blip, and you know, I think it's a more case of Mexico not being good rather than USA being brilliant. Having said that, you know, they did well, they won the game, well done, but you know, 1-0 in the 118th minute, you know, it's not something that I would personally brag about. Enjoy the win, and they will do, deservedly so. I mean, you know, they're so far behind Mexico in terms of trophies that they, you know, every single trophy helps them get their ego a little bit bigger. So yeah, congratulations to them. You know, enjoy it. I think in terms of Mexico, there's a lot to improve on. I think Tata Martino deserves to be questioned now, seriously. Up until now, I've been pretty confident in him. I think he's the right guy in the job. His substitutions have been iffy at best. Continually, like regularly. his substitutions today, I think some of them he was forced to make, and some of them were just a bit questionable. And I think some of the players that he chooses to call up regularly, like I don't want to single him out because everyone else does, and I don't really want to scapegoat him too much because I love the player and I love the guy. Rodolfo Pizarro, I just don't think he does well enough in the clubs that he's in and in the national team to warrant being called up time after time. He has got the talent. I just think it's national teams passed him by. I would want to see other players get called up. I think if I was Tata now, I would just go home and I would reflect. And I would seriously look at my team list and go, okay, some players need to be dropped and some players need to be called up. There are players in the Olympic squad that absolutely deserve to be regulars in the senior team now. For me, at the moment, right now, Vega and Cordova, and possibly Cesar Montes as well. Just absolutely ready to be senior national team members all the time. Like Lainez, I'll put Lainez in that category, but he's semi-regular with the national senior team as well. So already, for me, it's those two players. Vega and Cordova have proved already, despite their leagues, despite playing in the Liga MX, I think they've done enough now. Even if they don't win any medals for the Olympics, they've proved themselves worthy to be senior members of the national team players now. They're just brilliant and they're young as well. Get them in now. Get them in with the likes of Herrera, with the likes of Raul Jimenez when he's back. Get them feeding off of that experience of players that are still in their prime. I just think Mexico have been on at the cusp of a generational shift for about a year and a half now, I think. And I think it's time for them to pull the trigger, cut some players out of the team and add some players from the Olympic team or the U23 teams, whatever you want to call it. Attacking wise, Mexico have been really poor. They had a really good game against Honduras, was it? A few games back. That's it. Every other game it's been 1-0, 2-1s, scraping by. Like, just get, Vega's on fire, and he's been on fire for a while for Mexico at least. And for Chivas as well, although Chivas collectively not doing great at the moment, so that's a bit harsh on him. But for Mexico, I think that he could not have done better over the last year or so for Mexico than he has already. Bearing in mind he's only been playing for Mexico for a very short while. Cordova as well. I think he's proved that he's definitely, better than some of the players that play today. And Cesar Montes, Montes for me, he's shown both the quality that we all see in him, the prospect aura around him, of him being a quality centre-back for years to come. But he's also shown us in the Olympics that he's not quite ready yet, he's not quite there yet. But for me, I'll get him in this national team now. I'll get him in the senior team. Not just playing meaningless friendlies either, but just getting him fully established national team player. Because he can feed off the likes of Moreno, Araujo as well. You can learn so much. And, a young player like that learns so much from being just around these players that have been there, done it, won it all. Except for the World Cup, but no one's really won the World Cup, so in CONCACAF anyway. I think it's, for me, the people calling for Tata Martino's head, and fair enough, I think it's a fair call to make. I just don't think it's the right one. I would be a little bit disappointed to see him fired now, if he was fired today. But it's questions need to be asked now. I think everybody now, I don't think there's anybody that's defending him. There's nobody really that's saying, oh no, we should keep him, except for the fact that who we're going to bring in, there's a massive unknown of who else could come in and do a better job. So I think he just needs to make some hard decisions. I think he needs to drop some players that I think he likes that are not quite good enough. And he needs to bring some of the younger players in and just pull the trigger and just get some of the youngsters in, get some of the Olympic squad in. Because I think that's the main positive coming out of this Olympics. at the moment is we're seeing all these players perform really well against really good U23 teams. France technically on paper were a good team. Obviously beating South Korea, they're a good team as well. They beat some quality teams in this Olympics as well. They lost to Japan, but only by just. Japan got on to get into the semis as well, so they're a good team. And if they beat Brazil are a quality team like we always know, and Spain as well. So I think they've done enough now to show that they should be regulars, and they should just be called up with the odd friendlies in the US, but playing most of the games, always being called up regularly. And hopefully that will change the situation, because I think there's something wrong with Mexico at the moment. It's very easy to say, oh, it's because Jimenez is out and because Chucky Lozano is out. That's had an effect, no doubt. I mean, those two players are some of the key attacking players, the two key attacking players in the team, apart from maybe Tecatito. They haven't been playing. I mean, Jimenez hasn't been playing for pretty much all year. And, it's August now, and he hasn't played for Mexico in like 7 months. So, and Chucky Lozano's probably going to be out from the Mexico team now till I think the next friendlies are in like 2 months' time or something. Them being missing has had an impact, but there's something else that's not working. I'm not quite sure what it is. Don't know whether it's behind the scenes, whether it's Tata's coaching style. The attacking wise, just it's been pretty bad. I think it's the attack. Rather, the defensive side has been alright. Although we struggle against set pieces. Funes Mori is supposed to come in and take over from Jimenez, and you can clearly tell that's Tata's choice. He's decided, you change your citizenship, you'll be my guy now. Until Jimenez is back, you're my guy. And Funes Mori hasn't done nowhere near enough. He did alright. He's had alright spells. He scored a couple of goals in this tournament, but he's not done as good as we all hoped he would. And for me, this is his perfect chance, because Jimenez isn't out here at the moment. As soon as Jimenez is back, he's blatantly going to be going straight back into the starting spot. And if Funes Mori really wants to play for the Mexico national team, he should be worried now, because I think he's blown his chance to being a starting striker for Mexico. Although Tata seems to really like him, and Tata seems to call up players that he likes rather than are actually doing well. The whole Chicharito thing, would he have done well in this game? Is always going to be a bit if much and maybes, but there's no denying that he's in the form of his life at the moment. Maybe not the form of his life, but he's in really, really good form at the moment. And he's scoring loads of goals for Galaxy, and he's not even getting called up. And it has to be an off-the-field issue. And it's like, well, can you afford that? Can you really afford to not have Chicharito, who's your all-time goal scorer, not playing for you because of an argument or because he did something wrong? I don't know. Something's off with Mexico at the moment. And for me, this is the perfect wake-up call now. If they want to be serious and they want to remain at the top. So I think Mexico's still at the top of CONCACAF, but US are closing in, and I don't think it's because US are improving, really. I think it's because Mexico have let the ball slip, and I think they're in a bit of a nosedive at the moment. Half the squad are aging. Half the squad are, on the cusp of getting into the national team. Jimenez isn't going to be around for too much longer either. Even if he stays fit, he's probably got 3-4 years left in the national team. That's it. Jimenez is staring at the last lap of his career, in my opinion, and that's scary because there's no real replacement for him yet. Macias could do well, maybe. Who knows? Vega might step into a striker role, maybe, but some people see him as a wide player. I see him as a bit of a striker, to be honest with you. But he might be used for Mexico out wide. So it's questions, and it's time to reflect. It's time to for I think all of us kind of sit back and analyse what exactly is going on and what's going wrong, without getting all emotional about the loss. Um, Although it is emotional, fair enough. You know, you don't want to see Mexico lose, especially not to the US. But the US, I think, absolutely deserved to be put down a peg or two, and we've just gifted them another trophy. So that's going to be a bit of a pill to swallow for a while. But so yeah, I mean, for me, the answer for me is dropping some players. And I mean, it's easy for me to sit there and list players that I would drop. It's Tata Martino that has to make that decision, and he has to make a hard decision now. For me, if I was him, I like what's left to lose. Like, you know, surely he must be looking at some of the Olympic squad and going, okay, he's ready, and just bring them in. We'll have to wait and see if he actually does or not. I expect the senior national team to be different. If they make it to Qatar, the World Cup next year, I expect the squad to be different. Fairly significantly different. I think I would expect to see a bunch of the Olympic team in there. If I'm not, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not devastated. I mean, I'm annoyed about it, and I'm hurt and heartbroken by the loss, but I'm not overreacting. It's just I'm treating it as a wake up call for the fans as well as Tata Martino and the coaching staff that something's not right at Mexico. The team at the moment, the team are not playing as good as they should be, especially the attackers. So it's not all on Tata. The players have let him down as well. It's just like nobody stepped up today and took the game on and scored a goal. Scoring a goal, man. It's so difficult with Mexico to root for them scoring a goal at the moment. There was a good goal that Herrera scored against Canada, but he's not going to do that very often. And Funes Mori is not scoring often. Tecatito, I think, has had a very disappointing Gold Cup. I was really rooting for him to do well, and especially when Chucky got injured, I was expecting him to take up the attacking threat himself. And especially when Chucky got injured, you expected Tecatito to kind of take on the responsibility of scoring goals, and like he does with Porto, like he takes games by himself, and he becomes a leader. He didn't do that for Mexico in this Gold Cup. It's very disappointing. I mean, he did play a lot. I think he played every single minute or played every single game. So he's played a hell of a lot of games. I'll give him that, and he's probably knackered. But mate, I would have bet money on him scoring in this Gold Cup, and he hasn't. So it's been a disappointing tournament for him. But it is what it is. I don't really want to rant for too much longer, but we still got the Olympics to look forward to. They're in the semi-final. They play Brazil. If they can beat Brazil, they're guaranteed a gold or silver medal. So there is still pluses. Like I said, hopefully all the Mexican Americans are looking at the Olympic squad and thinking, okay, some of these players deserve to be playing now. Full time for the senior team. I think they need to make that jump. I think Tata Martino needs to make that decision. But yeah, I mean, for myself, it's been a long day. I've had like 5 hours sleep. I did a 10-hour shift. I had to put up with Mexico losing to the US while at work. Obviously been home for a couple of hours now, and I'm a little bit drunk. So. It is what it is. I think it's the perfect time to kind of sit back and reflect on the state that Mexico are in at the moment. I'm not trying to go overboard with it, but there is a problem with Mexico, especially with scoring goals. That needs to be addressed, and I think us as fans, as well as the coaching staff, need to sit back and think, okay, what's going on, what's happening, and all the underlying stuff with the chant as well. I mean, the chant thing, so unnecessary. It's like, even if we think it's part of the culture, even if we think all these arguments for it or whatever, defending it, it gets to a point where somebody says, look, they might not be able to play the World Cup if we keep doing it. That should make you go, oh, I better stop doing it then because I don't want Mexico to not play just because I'm being an idiot for a few minutes every game. So, um, but I think the issue is that Mexico are in a bit of a slump at the moment, and the slump's feeding the chant. You know, everyone knows that when Mexico do well and they're winning games, the chant doesn't happen. The chant happens when they're losing or when the fans think the players are not playing as good as they should do. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle, really. But there's so much negativity about Mexico at the moment. The only positive thing is the Olympics. For me, the Olympics, even if Mexico don't win any medals, I think they've done really well, exceptionally well. I think they should all be very proud of themselves. Some of the players have absolutely shined and proven that they're not only ready for the Mexico senior team, but they're ready for Europe. Cordova and Vega especially. I mean, I know I keep banging on about them, but they should be playing in Europe like this season. They should be going this season. There's bound to be, media reports of teams being interested in them, and about 90% of them are probably fake, but there has to be European teams looking at this team and going, okay, he's awesome, he's awesome, he's awesome. And we'll have to wait and see, but there's still time to improve. Mexico are in the transitional period, and I think it's time to cut some players and add some new blood into the team. I think that's the only way. That's the only reason why USA have started to improve. I think that's what Mexico needs to do, like significantly, not just the odd player, just like significantly. 3, 4, 5 players need to be taken out, and 5 players need to be brought in my opinion. So yeah, I just want to end the video by saying thank you to everyone that watches these videos. Some do brilliantly, some do too well, but there's consistently people that I see commenting and viewing, and it's really awesome to see. I really like it. It really means a lot. Slowly but surely the channel's growing. I just want to get to the point where we've got a bit of a community going within the general Liga MX English and L3 English community and the Twitter community. I just want to add to it and contribute to it and add my little bit of spice to it from all the way down under. Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate it. Every time people comment, it's great. Every time I get a notification someone's commented, it's awesome. I've got no negative comments yet, which is awesome. Although I think negative comments are a sign that you're doing something right and people are just hating you for no reason. But no, it's nice to have nice comments, and nice to have the same people comment as well. Hi Danny, shout out to Danny. Danny comments on all of my videos pretty much. So yeah, shout out to him. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate everyone that comments and likes and subscribes. It's just at the end of the day, most of these videos are just me sitting here and rambling on about stuff that probably people would disagree with, but the fact that people listen and come back for more is awesome. Obviously, when we start being allowed to travel again, I can't actually leave Australia at the moment. We have to get government permission to leave, so I think even then, getting back into the country is a bit of a mission at the moment. So we can't actually leave. So, but as soon as we can leave, I can start traveling. Go to the US, go to Mexico, go to games. And creating a bit more wider variety of content. It's just at the moment it's just working, making videos here and chilling out with my mates, and that's pretty much it at the moment. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, it's pretty good, but unfortunately in this aspect that I really want to go to Mexico, I really want to go to the US, and it can't happen at the moment. Yeah, but anyway, I'm a little bit drunk, as you can tell. I always ramble when I drink, so. Yeah, so to these guys, leave a comment. What do you think's wrong with Mexico at the moment? What do you think? What's your opinion about Tata Martino? Should he leave? What's your opinion on some of the players? Who would you take out the squad permanently, and who would you bring in? Would you bring anyone from the Olympic squad? Would you bring anyone else from Liga MX? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of the problem is. Do you think the USA are as good as their fans say they are? Do you think that they are gaining on the US, on Mexico, or do you think Mexico is just falling down? Yeah, let me know. I'll also reply to my comments, as you know. So, yeah, take it easy, guys. I am going to go back to my beers. So, take it easy. Peace.